Jabir ibn Hayyan has many achievements in the Islamic civilization under alchemy and chemistry. Chemistry is the scientific study of the basic characteristics of substances and the way in which they react or combine with other substances. While alchemy is a process of scientific studies which includes superstitions, but it is effective. He is full of curiosity, leads him to do various experiments to seek how far is the truth by understanding the universe. He is known to introduce meticulous experimental approaches that set the foundation of scientific methods that led us on exploring how the scientists began the process of transforming from alchemist superstitions into the world of science in chemistry. After he did various chemical experiments, he successfully introduced distillation to the world in the 8th century. This made him known as the father of chemistry and alchemy. One of the achievements is an apparatus called alembic pot, used to make distillation process easier, safer, and more efficient. Throughout the chemical experiments, he began to discover numerous acids by distilling various salts, combining with sulfuric acid that made him to create hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. By combining these two acids, he then created aqua regia, known as a few substances that dissolves metals like gold and platinum. His achievements were also revised in 9th century by Al-Razi. He used alembic pot to refine the practice of distilling alcohol, which was primarily used for ritual as a source of nutrients and calories as a substitute for polluted water or medicine to cure illness. While Al-Kindi used alembic pot to distill chemicals to separate mixtures, which produce lamp fuel, fragrances, and other useful chemicals. Al-Kindi's book on the chemistry of perfumes contained over 100 recipes which the process uses distillation.
Another achievement by Jabir is the discovery of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid was found by heating the mineral green vitriol in iron retort through distillation process. Abu Bakr al-Razi later on became the first chemist to mass-produce sulfuric acid to use as medicine. While sulfuric acid was mostly used for its medical properties in the past, chemists further continued Jabir's discovery for many other applications later on. Another worthy achievement, the Jabirian corpus, which is a method created by Jabir to classify substances and materials into 4 properties: hot, cold, wet, and dry. The properties were derived from ancient Greek concepts of water, earth, fire, and air, which were translated and further developed by Jabir. The Jabirian corpus is then able to understand the metallic composure of metals such as sulfur and also the liquid metal mercury.
The next achievement done by Jabir ibn Hayyan is fulfilling his teacher dream goal, in which I will be focusing. There are 3 goals. One is on making clothes waterproof, second is on making paper that are fire resistant, and lastly is making metal rust-proof. For the first one, that is making clothes waterproof, this can be done by 2 methods. The first method is by using beeswax or candle. These materials are used to rub on the fabric. Then after the cloth is fully covered by the wax, it is then heated under the sun, melting it, making the cloth absorb the wax, and after it cools, the cloth will be waterproof due to the wax prevent water from entering or being absorbed. The second method is by covering or dipping the cloth in oil. Since oil and water have different density, making it unmixable, therefore the cloth will become waterproof. For the second one, that is making paper fireproof, this is done by mixing borax acid and boric acid with water. This solution will then be dipped or rubbed against the paper. After it dries off, the paper will then become fireproof. This is due to the certain component in the borax acids and boric acids that when it's mixed, the solution will have a high resistance to heat, making it fireproof to a certain degree.
These achievements made in the past gives huge impacts into the modern world. With the existence of the advanced technology, the equipment are modified. For instance, traditional alembic pot has been replaced by more sophisticated distilling apparatus for industrial output such as fractional distillation. Is the process used to refine crude oil and natural gas to separate mixture of material, which produces fuel of cars, essential oil for aromatherapy, candles, tar for roads, and many more. However, the traditional methods such as alembic pot are still employed today by the industry for the production of the world's best beer, as it makes the drinks more spirituous. The typical shape of the copper alembic pot is said to give the drink a special unique taste, and there is no doubt at all that the copper alembic pot is far and away the best option. Acetic acid is used to make antibiotics that treats infections caused by bacteria or fungus. For example, medication for infections in the ear canal. Nowadays, acetic acid is also found commonly in any canned and pickled food that contain vinegar.
As previously mentioned, sulfuric acid was mostly used as medicine in the past. However, to date, many chemists and scientists continue Jabir's work to find further uses of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is widely used in the modern world. In 2016, 271 tons of sulfuric acid were produced globally just that year. Sulfuric acid is mainly used for production of fertilizers. This helps in agricultural works, increasing in terms of crop growth and production. Raising of livestock also became more efficient with quicker cycles of farm animals breeding ground recovery. Sulfuric acid is also used in petroleum refining to clean the impurities of natural oil, creating gasoline and other refinery products. This refined fuel are important to our transportation needs today. Other uses of sulfuric acid also includes lead acid battery, metal pickling, which is the cleaning of metals before they are coated in the manufacturing process, and also combines with nitric acid to form explosives for the construction works. As for the Jabirian corpus, it is further developed to what we know today as the periodic table, which is used to understand elements of not only metals but gases as well.
Previously, in the past, the method used for making fabric waterproof have succeeded. However, it might not be comfortable to wear, which is why as technology improved and advanced, this can now be done more easily and in a simpler way. That is by spraying durable water repellent or DWR towards the fabric, and this will prevent water from soaking or entering the fabric, making it waterproof. For the fireproofing of paper, since the experiment have worked amazingly, it is now have been improved and used to fireproof not only paper but also other materials to a certain heat degree. In China, the impact of this successful experiment have made them advance more toward making the paper not only fireproof but also waterproof at the same time. For the last goal, that is on making metal rust-proof, there have been a lot of methods developed nowadays that are successful in making it so. However, I will only be mentioning two methods. One method is known as galvanizing. This is accomplished through hot dipping galvanizing or electroplating. The iron or steel object is coated in a thin layer of zinc. This will stop oxygen and water from reaching the metal underneath, since zinc is more reactive than iron, so it oxidizes in preference to the iron object. The second method is known as bluing. It is immersing of steel parts into a solution of potassium nitrate, water and sodium hydroxide, and is a useful technique which offers limited protection for small steel items against rust. The reason it is called bluing is because of the blue-black appearance of the finish. When using this technique, it is often used in manufacturing firearms to provide a degree corrosion resistance. It's also used in fine clocks and other metalwork.